streaming live on News8000.com. This is News 8 Now, This Morning.
A good Thursday morning to you. I'm Jordan Fremstad. This morning on News 8 Now, the Sparta man on trial for killing his grandfather speaks out for the first time in court.
And I'm Derek Sibley. Fog is possible this morning. Otherwise, yet another quiet day is ahead, but we could see some changes tomorrow. I'll have those details.
And learn the story of one lucky Monroe County dog who found her forever home. It is Thursday, September 1st, beginning a new month here in 2022. We've got all the news, weather, and buzz you need to plan out your morning coming up. But first, here is your Thursday morning eye-opener.
There's no thought. It's so lightning. It happened so lightning fast. There's really no thought process.
Before Aspesetter testified in his own defense, the prosecution called a number of witnesses.
We will see the reemergence of influenza in the winter.
She was a staff favorite immediately. She was this goofy old lady with these rickety hips, but she still insisted on playing tug of war.
The shelter is also full of volunteers like Stephanie.
I say they help me, as much as I help them.
Serena Williams just supreme in the final set when she had to be. Rolling back the years.
Oh, we've got a lot to get to this morning. It's so great to see Serena Williams back to her winning ways. They're such an icon in the sport of tennis. It's what I think about when I think of tennis, Derek. She's definitely going to be missed in the sports world for sure, not just in tennis, but across all sports.
Absolutely.
For sure. But in terms of weather this morning, pretty quiet for the most part this week, but rain's going to come, of course, just in time for the weekend.
Yeah, we'll have to be monitoring those chances here ever so slightly, Jordan. And also this morning, like you said, it's quiet, but we're also tracking some patchy fog as well in some spots, more specifically Black River Falls as a perfect example right now, reporting about a quarter of a mile visibility. The rest of us are looking okay. Bosque Bell, though, looking at a quarter of a mile. No fog currently being reported in areas like Eau Claire or even La Crosse, but that may be changing here shortly when this map does update, because as you can see from City Cam 8, everything is starting to see some foggy, misty conditions, if you will, that could lower your visibilities on your morning commute. Current temperatures in the meantime heading out the door are into the 60s, although some spots like Sparta, Black River Falls reporting some 50s here this morning, mid 50s that is. 64 though in Viroqua. Your hourly forecast for today, after we get through some of that patchy fog, skies will turn partly cloudy. Temperatures then warming up into those mid to upper 80s. I have a high today of about 88 degrees this afternoon, so another very warm day for this time of year. In the meantime, allergens are high for ragweed, weeds, and mold today and tomorrow. In fact, back on August 26th, we counted 96 ragweed pollens out there, so that was the highest count so far this year, Jordan.
Still searching for that allergy relief on that graphic, Derek. All right, thanks a lot. Well, we begin this morning in Monroe County. For the first time, we are hearing from the Sparta man charged with using an axe to kill a relative. 38-year-old Thomas Apsetter took to the stand on Wednesday to testify in his own defense. During his 2-hour testimony, Apsetter told the jury that his grandfather punched him in the face seconds before he grabbed an axe and hit his grandfather with it.
I believe I hit him twice. Like the first time, not as hard, like I was using it as like a bat or like a weapon, not as a chopping tool. And then the second time, I got him. Look at him. There's no thought. It's so lightning. It happened so lightning fast. There's really no thought process. I mean, I walked away from it, took 2 steps, and I'm outside that door in the kitchen.
Closing arguments are expected today. If convicted, Apsetter faces life in prison. A Winona man charged with vehicular homicide entered a Norgard plea. 35-year-old Adam Anderson admits he's guilty, but that he's unable to recall the facts. Anderson is charged with driving drunk that caused the crash that killed Winona State student Hannah Goldman. He is facing sentencing on, or his sentencing, I should say, is set for November 9th. Pharmacy technicians, like so many others, are in short supply. Gunderson Health System created a program cutting the shortage by half. Gunderson Health System's pharmacy tech training program began in 2019. At that time, the hospital was short 40 technicians. Gunderson has cut that number in half and is still looking for more. Kaylee Retzloff, a pharmacy technician, says the shortage impacts wait times and can put pressure on staff.
Hey, it might just be me and one other person in here kind of doing everything, typing your prescription, filling it, doing all your insurance. So it does get a little stressful.
Gunderson says on average it needs 15 to 20 pharmacy technicians per year. The 12-week paid program is open to anyone, and you don't need a college degree. The hospital says the program is a great starting point for people looking to join the medical field. If you're registered for September's Steppin' Out in Pink at Riverside Park, you can pick up your t-shirt today. Steppin' Out in Pink is a fundraising walk for all ages and abilities to help raise money for breast cancer research. This year's shirt design is designed to change things up.
All of the apparel is different. We kind of keep things fresh throughout the years, and of course our t-shirts are completely different. We went with a brighter color pink this year to really pop at Riverside Park.
You can pick up your shirt at the Onalaska Support Services building between 7:30 in the morning and 5:30 in the evening. The Monroe County Dog Shelter is nearly always full with surrenders and strays. News 8 Now's Emily Haugen has the story of one dog who waited 5 months to find her forever home.
The Monroe County Dog Shelter is nearly full every day.
Anytime an animal needs a place to go, we'll take them in.
Filled with adult dogs and senior dogs like Molly, who arrived at the shelter in March.
She was a staff favorite immediately. She was this goofy old lady with these rickety hips, but she still insisted on playing tug of war.
The shelter is also full of volunteers like Stephanie.
I say they help me, as much as I help them, so.
Who keep this place running because they love what they do. And the dogs they care for.
She does her little senior dog prance when you come in the door, and it's just the best thing to see.
Stephanie fell head over heels and wanted to bring Molly home, but Stephanie lived in an apartment.
I always told myself, once I close on my house, if she's still there, we're gonna take her.
Sweet dogs like Molly don't usually stick around. But this 10-year-old American Bulldog became a shelter regular for no fault of her own.
She was actually adopted and returned 3 times.
Molly didn't find her forever home until Stephanie did.
I got the text message, I closed on a house, I would like to come adopt Molly, and there was no question.
When Stephanie came to take Molly, there was no question. This shelter goodbye was forever.
But knowing that we're providing her a retirement home, that's really special, I think, for us and for her.
And this new home was forever too. In Sparta, Emily Haugen, News 8 Now.
You have to love that. Amber posted a full video of Molly's shelter goodbye on Facebook. We have that link at news8000.com. Well, you have an opportunity to give a shelter pet a happy ending during the Coulee Region Humane Society's Adopt-a-thon. This week, adopters can name their own adoption fee for all cats and kittens and some dogs. Smaller animals like rabbits and hamsters are free to adopt. Since the promotion started on Monday, 15 animals have found their forever homes, but there are still 69 animals available. There are still opportunities for you to schedule a time to meet a potential new pet. We have some road construction for you to keep in mind this morning. Onalaska Avenue between Gillette Street and Rubley Street is temporarily closed to through traffic. Crews are working on utility repairs. The La Crosse Utility Office wants drivers to be careful because large machinery will be close to driving lanes. They do not have a set end date for that project. Happening today, the Compass South Trail of Grandad Bluff Park will be closed. Crews are removing hazardous trees. While they work, the segment between intersection 6372 will be off limits. The closure is expected to last through Friday. The American Queen is floating into Riverside Park. Starting Thursday, the enormous 6-deck riverboat is offering tours of the Mississippi River through October 19th. 2 other paddle wheel boats and the Viking River Cruise will also dock at the park. We have more information on our website at news8000.com. I know there's lots of photographers in the area, so don't miss out on your opportunity down at the park. Still ahead on your Thursday morning news, heavy metals found in your herbs and spices. Consumer Reports takes a look at what could be hiding inside your kitchen. And how a Wisconsin federal court is making voting easier for the disabled. With that in mind, we are sending you to break with something to put the good in your Thursday morning. The U.S. Postal Service is creating the beloved Peanuts comic strip with 10 new stamps, debuting in the 1950s. The comic became history's most popular and successful strip. For 50 years, Charles M. Schulz wrote, drew, and lettered every Peanuts strip, totaling around 18,000. The last strip was published in 2000. The Forever stamps commemorate the centennial of Scholl's birth. He would have turned 100 this year. You can purchase those stamps at the USPS.com website. Your latest forecast is just ahead here on News 8 Now this morning. We'll be right back right after this.
Definitely some foggy conditions there from City Cam 8, so make sure that you brace yourself on that morning commute to give yourself some extra time this morning. In the meantime, highs today are going to be working their way up into the mid to upper 80s in La Crosse County. 85 today in Soldiers Grove, 85 in Hillsboro, and 87 today towards the west in Stoddard. Highs reaching 83 in Westby today, 86 in Melrose, and warm again today in Warrens at 86 degrees. High of 86 if you're in Sparta this afternoon. Trempealeau at 86 degrees as well. Highs reaching 87 in Eau Claire and 85 today in Stanley, 87 in Altoona, 86 to the north in Cornell. Now for your schoolcast, watch out for some of that morning fog here, dropping the kids off, and then lunch hour, looking at partly cloudy skies. Temperatures around 84. By the afternoon, still partly cloudy. Temperatures warming up to around 87 degrees.
The energy company EPB of Chattanooga claims to have the nation's fastest internet service. The company has launched a community-wide 25 gigabits per second internet service, but it doesn't come cheap. A residential customer will pay $1,500 a month. Businesses will pay more than $12,000 monthly. The company expects prices to eventually come down as the rest of the market catches up. The parent company of the social media platform Snapchat plans to lay off 20% of its staff as it tries to reduce costs amid declining sales. The Snap CEO said in a letter to staff that sales were not keeping up with projections. Now he says the company will refocus its business on areas including revenue growth and augmented reality, I should say. The Indeed Hiring Lab indicates job seekers are looking for higher wages in today's job market. Workers are searching for positions with pay of at least $20 an hour, a 36% increase in August compared to 2021, surpassing the number of searches for $15 an hour over that same time period. Searches for openings offering $15 an hour dropped by more than half. Herbs and spices can elevate your meals from just plain to a family favorite, but a Consumer Reports investigation found harmful heavy metals in some popular spices. Here is more on the spices that can do more harm than good.
Maybe go with here. So if you clip the top, say 8 or 10 inches, the rest will continue to grow.
Carolyn Ramsey's twins, Dante and Aria, are active helpers in the family herb garden. This year's crop includes thyme, rosemary, and basil.
We're gonna make pesto out of this. It's a good thing to use because it's one herb that makes so many things taste good.
Besides convenience, there are some good reasons to grow your own herbs and spices. In Consumer Reports tests, roughly a third of the store-bought spices they looked at were found to contain enough potentially dangerous heavy metals to raise health concerns when regularly consumed in typical serving sizes. The 3 more problematic store-bought herbs: basil, thyme, and oregano. The good news, they're also among the simplest to grow.
If you have a sunny spot in your yard, porch, or even a windowsill, you can safely grow herbs to use fresh or dry yourself.
Herbs grow well in separate pots with drainage. Place a few stones in the bottom of a pot with a hole in it. If you want to assure that your herbs are free of heavy metals, you need to start with the soil.
Buy potting soil with a seal from the Organic Materials Review Institute to be sure it's been assessed for heavy metals.
It's simple to dry and store your herbs. Wash and dry the leaves thoroughly to avoid mold. Place them in a paper bag for several weeks, then store in airtight containers where they can last a few years. Or speed up the drying process using a toaster oven, air fryer, or a multi-cooker set on the dehydration function. So grab some seeds, some soil, and get started.
Anybody could do it if they have the right materials and stuff to do it.
And the right frame of mind.
This is Luz Montez.
Got to have the right frame of mind. Well, now that you're thinking about those spices in your shelf, you can give them a sniff test. Although many can last 2 to 4 years, CR says if you can no longer smell them, it's probably time to toss them out and then consider growing a new batch yourself.
Well, it sure is a pretty foggy start this morning as we take a live look from City Cam 8. Our visibilities are being reduced quite a bit for your morning commute, so just be aware that heading out the door is 64 degrees and southeast winds at 5 miles an hour in La Crosse. A river stage being reported at 5.83 feet and dropping. Check out the humidity, 93%. A lot of moisture in the air to cause the fog, reducing some visibilities out there this morning. About 7 miles now being reported in Black River Falls. We're looking at about a quarter of a mile down south in Boscobel. I expect these to kind of update here shortly in La Crosse, because we just saw from City Cam 8 that things are definitely not looking too good there. Temperatures are into the 50s and 60s in the meantime as you head out the door this morning. And our satellite and radar, besides the foggy conditions, everything is looking good. There's some clouds though back towards our west with another system that we're currently watching. Also, speaking of systems, high pressure system at the surface to our south. We're on the clockwise flow of that system, giving us that southerly wind motion as well, and that's going to be giving us some warmer temperatures for us to work with later today. In fact, you know, yesterday was a pretty hot day. It was actually 89 degrees. That's very warm for this time of the year. Today, I'm expecting high temperatures to get pretty similar to that, maybe about a degree off, about 88 degrees, making it yet another warm day. Even our low temperature this morning of 65 degrees will put us well above. Check out the normal low this time of the year, 59 degrees. So a very warm start here to September. Temperatures into the mid to upper 80s across much of the Coulee region this afternoon. So after we get through the fog, we're 83 and partly cloudy by noon today, and then temperatures warm up to 87 degrees at 4. After that, we're down to 80 degrees under partly cloudy and overall nice conditions there. So Sky Tracker showing that southerly wind motion to work with throughout the day today. That may allow for some cloud development thanks to some moisture here coming up from the south. And then after that, we're watching our next system. This is a cold front that's forecast to move through the Coulee region as we head into tomorrow evening and tomorrow night. And as it passes through, we'll have to watch out for an isolated shower or thunderstorm or two, which is why our rain chances are looking a little low here for Friday, but nonetheless highest that we've seen here recently though. And then after those rain chances Friday, we can expect partly cloudy conditions this weekend. Notice our temperatures go down to the 70s behind that front, and then Labor Day onward through most of next week, we're mainly sunny with highs warming back up into the 80s, lows in the 50s and 60s. So overall, partly cloudy conditions and another warm day is to be expected this afternoon. Slight rain chances possible this Friday. Stay with us though. We'll have much more news and weather still to come right here on News 8 Now this morning. But for now, we're taking a quick break. Here's a look at what happened on this day in history. We'll be right back. Well, besides the fog that we're also watching this morning, but we're keeping a close eye on our temperatures here too for you as you head out the door. Looking at temperature readings into the 50s and 60s, 61 in Eau Claire and 64 degrees currently in La Crosse. Overall, pretty warm start for most locations. Again, that foggy start here for the morning walks and then partly cloudy for the afternoon. Skies turn partly cloudy again here as we head towards the evening hours. And as far as your mowing forecast is concerned, we will be looking at, again, that fog here, but after that lifts out, mowing conditions look good. Temperatures at 81 degrees at 11, and by 3 o'clock, partly cloudy, temperatures at around 88 degrees.
Welcome to the Blitz. Coming into yesterday, just 34 games remaining in the regular season. The Brewers are 6 games behind the Cardinals in the NL Central, 2.5 behind the Padres in the wild card chase, so every game is big, and the Crew looking for a series win. Yesterday afternoon, rubber game between the Brewers and Pirates. Crew down 1 in the 5th, but Willy Adames changes that. He lines one in a right center. That's going to find some grass. Tyrone Taylor comes around to score. RBI double for Adames. Ties the game at 1. Let's go to the 6th now. Same score. Keston Hiura on third. He's going to break on contact. Great base running from Hiura. No play at home. Crew go up 2-1. Fast forward to the 7th. Same score. This time, Hiura with the bat. This small smoked. O'Neill Cruz can't come up with it. Hunter Renfroe motors in from second. It's 3-1 Milwaukee. Then later in the inning, Luis Arias lines a base hit in a center field. That makes it 4-1. Brewers score 4 in the 7th. They go on to win it 6-1. Twins looking to complete the sweep over Boston, but in the 3rd, bases loaded for Xander Bogaerts. He sends this one out in a hurry. A missile into the left field seats. Grand slam for the Red Sox makes it 4-0. Then later in the inning, JD Martinez joins the party. Almost the exact same spot as Bogaerts. Solo shot increases Boston's lead to 5. Let's go bottom 3 now. Twins looking to get back in this one. This will help. Luis Arias with a man on gets all of this one right. 2-run blast cuts it to 3, but in the 6th, The Sox get one back, and it's Bogaerts again doing the damage, this time going the other way. RBI double makes it 6-2. The Twins fight back but can't get it done in the ninth. Their 5-game win streak is snapped 6-5. Let's go to New York, second round of the U.S. Open. Serena Williams back in action, taking on the number 2 seed Anett Kontaveit. How about this return from Williams in the first? Serena would rally back in the set, and here she is on set point with a chance to win it. And there's still some fire in that serve. Serena takes the first, 7-6. Tiger Woods, he's loving what he sees, but in the second, Kontaveit rolling up 5-2, a chance to take the set. And that ace gives her the second, 6-2, but Serena turning back the clock in the third. Look at the return. The upset is complete. Serena takes down the number 2 seed, and her journey continues at the U.S. Open. That'll do it for the Blitz. We'll see you tonight.
Breaking overnight, South Korea and the U.S. held live fire exercises near the border with North Korea on Wednesday as part of an annual combined military training that began around a week ago. The allies conducted drills involving battle tanks, helicopters, and mortars, along with hundreds of troops from the U.S. Army, Air Force, and the South Korean Army. The allies have been staging the drill exercise since August 22nd. The Department of Defense has listed climate change as a national security threat. Fort Meade in Maryland prioritizes climate change in order to provide clean energy. Part of their plan is topping nearly 60% of housing at Fort Meade with solar panels. The base also plans to turn a landfill into a solar farm with enough energy to power Fort Meade.
If we can get ahead of it now, then the future, of course, will be a better Army for it.
The Army's climate strategy also includes a goal of an all-electric non-tactical vehicle fleet by 2035 and a fully electric tactical vehicles by 2050. A judge is set to hear arguments this afternoon related to the search of former President Donald Trump's home. Trump and his attorneys are asking for a special master. The Justice Department objects, saying that could harm national security. Amy Kiley previews the hearing.
Attorneys for former President Donald Trump and the Justice Department are due in court this afternoon. The hearing is about whether a special master should review documents the FBI seized from Trump's home. Trump reiterated his request for one in a filing last night.
Everything about the filing is odd.
Trump's filing doesn't address obstruction allegations made by the DOJ.
I had told the president this when I worked with him in the Oval Office. It's very rarely the original act that gets people in trouble. It's the attempts to obstruct or cover up after the fact.
Trump's filing lays out his case for a special master appointment.
The special master arguments are all about attorney-client privilege, but they try pretty clumsily to elide them into an executive privilege situation.
In his filing, Trump seems to acknowledge the FBI seized documents marked classified, but he has asserted that should have been expected with presidential records.
That procedure is they are in the archives where they belong.
Also of note is the DOJ already went through the documents. Requesting a special master now could be a stall tactic, according to this expert.
I think this document shows they didn't have time to really confront and grapple with what the government has put forward. It's quite an indictment.
Former Deputy Assistant Attorney General John Yo predicts the Trump team will succeed in getting a special master. The judge has indicated she was inclined to appoint one. Back here in Wisconsin, the Bipartisan Elections Agency plans to ask the Republican-controlled legislature to create a new division that is designed to increase confidence in election results. The WEC has been facing backlash from Republicans since Donald Trump's 2020 loss. Commissioners want to hire 10 people and create an elections inspector general program. It would have to be approved by the legislature, which includes many Republicans who want to dissolve the commission entirely and then be signed into law by the next governor. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration is now authorizing updated COVID-19 vaccine and booster shots from Moderna and Pfizer. Both vaccines combine the original vaccine into one targeting Omicron variants. The boosters can only be administered once the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention give them the green light. The CDC's Vaccine Advisory Group will vote today. U.S. public health officials still consider COVID-19 a great concern, but now they're also preparing for an active flu season. Mayo Clinic infectious disease specialists say the flu will reemerge in Minnesota and Wisconsin later this winter. As less people wear masks, experts say both COVID-19 cases and flu cases will rise.
And in 2020 winter, we were all masking, we were all distancing. There was literally no influenza.
Doctors recommend that people continue to mask and wash their hands frequently to prevent COVID-19 and the flu. A federal ruling now makes voting easier for thousands of Wisconsinites living with disabilities. In July, the Wisconsin Supreme Court outlawed absentee ballot drop boxes. Ballot drop boxes still aren't allowed in the state, but a federal judge ruled people with disabilities can rely on family or a close friend to deliver their absentee ballots for them. Despite Wednesday's ruling, some people say there is still a lot of election uncertainty.
Today is a very good day for voters with disabilities in Wisconsin.
Barbara Beckert with Disability Rights Wisconsin considers a judge ruling today a win for everyone, not just those with disabilities.
Today is a victory for ballot access. Today is a victory for the right to vote.
A federal judge ruled people with disabilities may ask others to deliver ballots for them, especially when they would otherwise struggle to get it to a clerk's office. It's a ruling some felt shouldn't have even been in question.
I have gotten a lot of questions from people who are sort of like, are you surprised that it came to this? Like, doesn't it seem silly that these voters had to sue just to vote? Absolutely. It is ridiculous. It should not have come to this.
But those who argued against the ruling feel it could lead to overall concerns about election integrity, something that past lawsuits and investigations have found wasn't an issue in Wisconsin.
I mean, voting should be easy, but it should also be secure. The critical question now is for the Election Commission in implementation. How does it and do clerks implement this ruling?
Barbara Beckert says she'll remember today's win as a sign for both sides of this lawsuit to feel confident about the upcoming November election.
Now we need to make sure that this is applied uniformly across Wisconsin and that all voters with disabilities have the right to accommodations and to ensure that they can have assistance with the entire voting process, including returning of their absentee ballot.
A judge ordered the Elections Commission to issue instructions to clerks by September 9th. The WC said it will discuss how to issue guidance at a meeting next Tuesday. Across the river over in Minnesota, the Supreme Court there is considering expanding access to cameras in the courtroom. Right now, audio and video coverage is authorized for certain district court criminal trials if the defense and prosecution agree to let it happen. But following requests from media outlets and transparency experts, the Supreme Court is ordering a review of that ruling.
I think after the Chauvin and Potter trial, the public now has an expectation that they're going to have the right to see what's happening in our courtrooms.
The Minnesota State Supreme Court is holding a hearing on cameras in the courtroom on September 20th. Well, the Minnesota State Fair brings in visitors and vendors from all across the state. But have you ever wondered where everyone else is coming from? Well, we did. Jeff Wagner learned the sweet treats and quirky items have roots around the world.
There's many fishes in the sea of people that flow through the Minnesota State Fair. Where are you from?
Annandale.
Most of whom
Andover.
call this state home.
We're from Eden Prairie.
Lane, Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Where?
Horse Lake.
I'm from Duluth.
But with tens of thousands, sometimes hundreds of thousands, lining up for food and learning about livestock, they can't all be local. Do you ever run into people here who are not Minnesotans?
Yes, you do. Montana, Wyoming, California.
How many states do you think are represented walking through these gates?
Oh my gosh.
We'll go 30.
Maybe 8.
I would say at least the lower 48 states.
Close. Back in 2019, tickets were sold to all 50 states. What do you think that tells you that this is touching all corners of the U.S.?
I say it's really good. It's a moneymaker.
It's the better state fair.
What are some of the other places you think the people are from?
Canada?
He's right. Tickets were sold to nearly 30 countries in 2019, including Canada, France, India, Japan, and more. It might feel like cheating, but I'm pretty sure we'll find non-Minnesotans here. Vendors at the International Bazaar.
I'm from Ghana, West Africa.
Turned the state fair into a World's Fair, allowing shoppers to crisscross the globe.
Some of our products are made by the people in the village, which some are
in Africa. Outside of the bazaar, vendors loading up plates and crafting jewelry also come from beyond Minnesota's borders. And where are you guys from?
We live in Georgia.
Kim Underwood has sold custom toe rings here for 14 years.
In Australia, we sell them with malt vinegar and ketchup.
Carmel Dyer and her luscious potatoes hail from down under, but she now calls California home. What stands out to you about the Minnesota State Fair compared to the others in the circuit?
Actually, the Minnesota State Fair is probably the #1 fair in the country.
A lot of us travel from a long distance to come here because it's amazing.
You can always count on Jeff Wagner to find all of those people. That's good reporting, right? That's not easy to do, to find all of those people amongst that crowd. The Minnesota State Fair runs until next Monday.
Bit of a foggy start this morning here from City Cam 8, and you can see it's really reducing those visibilities, but not really everybody is dealing with the fog. As you can see, it's very isolated in some localized spots. All right, let's take a look now at your forecast today. Overall, 88 degrees, yet another warm day. Partly cloudy skies, a south wind to work with at 10 to 15 miles an hour. For tonight, still pretty warm, 68 degrees and partly cloudy. That south wind is still hanging in tight at around 10 to 15 miles an hour. Your boating forecast looks good after that fog clears out, of course. Temperatures will warm up into the 80s by this afternoon under partly cloudy conditions and a south wind at 10 to 15 miles an hour. All right, let's get a check now on your drivecast this morning. Besides that fog, things are looking okay here. Partly cloudy for your lunch hour, and then by the evening, skies will continue to remain on the partly cloudy sky. I'll have more pleasure for weather forecasts coming up in just a bit. Jordan?
Sounds good. Thank you, Derek. Well, coming up in the Buzz this morning, fans can free up their weekend as the Lord of the Rings series is finally here. We'll fill you in the Buzz just ahead here on News 8 Now this morning.
Well, it sure is a very foggy start this morning in some spots around the Coulee region, but here in La Crosse, we can definitely say that ourselves. So you want to make sure that you give yourself plenty of extra time this morning for those morning commutes. 64 degrees currently in La Crosse. We also have a southeast wind, very light at around 5 miles an hour. Our river stage at 5.83 feet and dropping this morning along the Mississippi. The relative humidity, check that out. Yeah, it's pretty high, 93%. A lot of moisture in the air to allow that fog development. But again, it's very localized, only seeing some patchy areas of fog here and there across the area. So not everybody is really dealing with the fog though this morning. Temperatures into the 50s and 60s. It's 55 degrees currently in Black River Falls, 53, a little cooler there in Sparta, 57 further east in Volkfield, and 64 in Viroqua and La Crosse, 61 in Winona, 61 degrees in Eau Claire. Yesterday was a very warm day. Highs got up to around 89 degrees, just shy of the 90-degree mark, which put us well above average for this time of the year. My forecast high today will be 88 degrees, so very similar to what happened yesterday, still putting us well above the average high of 81 degrees for this time of the year. Forecast highs today across the rest of the Coulee region look like this, with highs into those mid to upper 80s, reaching around 88 today in Eau Claire and 86 degrees in Sparta, 83 in Viroqua. Meanwhile, down south in Boscobel, you're looking at 86 degrees and 86 degrees as well as we head further towards the west along Winona. Today's a pretty unique day as we are experiencing the first day of meteorological fall. So what does that mean? Well, not only does it begin today in the northern hemisphere, but it also marks the annual temperature cycle. That's kind of what it's based off of. Astronomical fall, which you're kind of used to hearing, the fall equinox begins a little bit later this month on September 22nd. That's based on the position of the Earth in relation to the sun. So pretty unique day, and it's a pretty warm start here on this first day of meteorological fall as well. Clear skies right now across the local area, widening out the view though. You can see high pressure to the south here at the surface. So we are under that clockwise southerly wind flow on the west side of that high. So that's why our temperatures are expected to be pretty warm here yet again. So after we get through that fog, we're 83 at noon today, followed by 87 and partly cloudy by 4. And then by 8 o'clock this evening, we're partly cloudy again, temperatures at around 80 degrees. So we expect that south wind to continue to give us some of those clouds across the area, not just today, but also into the evening hours. As we head into tomorrow, here comes that cold front. And as it drifts towards the south. That could spark off maybe a couple of showers and storms and clouds here as we head into Friday and also into early Saturday. But the best chances look to be Friday, though, for now. After that, our temperatures get cooler this weekend behind the front. Next week, mostly sunny with highs mainly back into the 80s.
In our Buzz Report this morning, if you've been missing Orcs and Elves, Friday marks the return to Middle-earth. The Rings of Power is the prequel to the hit Lord of the Rings, set thousands of years before the first Hobbit story. It covers the rise of the Dark Lord Sauron and creating of the One Ring. The first 2 episodes arrive Friday on Amazon Prime. Survivor introduced 18 new castaways set to compete in the show's 43rd season, premiering later this month right here on CBS. The players will be stranded on the islands of Fiji until the sole survivor collects a $1 million prize. And actor Greta Gerwig and her co-stars arrived at the Venice Film Festival for the premiere of White Noise. The movie tells the story of a suburban American family dealing with love, death, and the mysteries of life. Adam Driver stars as the middle-aged dad, which required him to add on some pounds. White Noise opens in theaters in November. With that in mind, we have got a trio of birthdays to celebrate this morning.
All right, let's get right to it. Happy 8th birthday to Evan. Now, Evan loves animals, Hot Wheels, and Minecraft.
Happy birthday to Hope. Hope turns 8 months today. Look at that smile. She loves to play outside and hang with her big sister.
Happy birthday to Allie as well, who is turning 8. Now, Allie enjoys playing with her dogs, bike rides, and family vacations.
All good things to love for sure. Happy birthday to everybody this morning. If you know a special someone turning 8 months, 8 years, 80 years old, or 88 years old soon, we would love to feature them.
Yeah, just upload their photo to our website, news8000.com, and look for the Submit Pictures button under the Home tab on our website.
Well, you know the drill. We've got everything you need to know this morning in 5 minutes or less. Your Morning News Now is up next.
Ahead on CBS Mornings, a tiny implant could help people who are paralyzed communicate using only their thoughts. What? Dr. John LaPook shows us a revolutionary device and speaks to a patient who says it changed his life, I'll bet. And we'll introduce you to a man who was almost the first black astronaut in space. See how not getting picked for the famed 1969 Apollo moon mission changed his life for the better. And a cow is stealing the show in the Broadway hit. Yep, the cow. He's in Into the Woods. He is great. We'll meet the actor bringing this character to life in a brand new way. All that plus, best news of all, have you heard? Serena Williams keeps the drive alive. Yes, we'll see you 7 o'clock on the dot.
Your Morning News Now on this Thursday. For the first time, we are hearing from the Sparta man charged with using an axe to kill a relative. 38-year-old Thomas Apsetter took to the stand on Wednesday to testify in his own defense. During his 2-hour testimony, Apsetter told the jury that his grandfather punched him in the face seconds before he grabbed an axe and hit his grandfather with it. A Winona man charged with vehicular homicide entered a Norgard plea. 35-year-old Adam Anderson admits he's guilty, but that he's unable to recall the facts. Anderson is charged with driving drunk that caused the crash that killed Winona State student Hannah Goldman. His sentencing is set for November 9th. Pharmacy technicians, like so many others, are in short supply. Gunderson Health System created a program cutting the shortage by half. Gunderson Health System's pharmacy tech training program began in 2019. At the time, the hospital was short 40 technicians. Gunderson has cut that number in half and is still looking for more. Kaylee Retzloff, a pharmacy technician, says the shortage impacts wait times and can put pressure on staff.
Hey, it might just be me and one other person in here kind of doing everything, typing your prescription, filling it, doing all your insurance. So it does get a little stressful.
Gunderson says on average it needs 15 to 20 pharmacy technicians per year. The 12-week paid program is open to anyone, and you don't need a college degree. The hospital says the program is a great starting point for people looking to join the medical field.
A bit of a foggy start this morning across portions of the Coulee region. After that fog clears, skies will turn partly cloudy and temperatures are expected to warm back up into the 80s. I do have a forecast high today of about 88 degrees, making it yet another warm day this afternoon.
Well, you have the opportunity to give a shelter pet a happy ending during the Cooley Region Humane Society's Adopt-a-thon. This week, adopters can name their own adoption fee for all cats and kittens and some dogs. Smaller animals like rabbits and hamsters are free to adopt. Since the promotion started on Monday, 15 animals have found their forever homes, but there are still 69 animals available. There are still opportunities for you to schedule a time to meet a potential new pet. If you've registered for September's Steppin' Out in Pink event at Riverside Park, you can pick up your t-shirt today. Steppin' Out in Pink is a fundraising walk for all ages and abilities to help raise money for breast cancer research. This year's shirt design is designed to change things up.
All of the apparel is different. We kind of keep things fresh throughout the years, and of course our t-shirts are completely different. We went with a brighter color pink this year to really pop at Riverside Park.
You can pick up your shirt at the Onalaska Support Services building between 7:30 in the morning and 5:30 in the evening. Onalaska Avenue between Gillette Street and Rubley Street is temporarily closed this morning due to utility repairs. Crews are working on that section of road. The La Crosse Utility Office wants drivers to be careful because large machinery will be close to driving lanes. They do not have a set end date for that project. Today, the Compass South Trail of Grandad Bluff Park will be closed. Crews are removing hazardous trees. While they work, the segment between intersection 6372 will be off limits. The closure is expected to last through Friday.
Patchy morning fog is possible. Otherwise, you can expect a pretty nice start here to the morning. Partly cloudy skies, though, by noon. Same can be said later this afternoon as well, with temperatures in the 80s. Speaking of temperatures in the 80s, I have a forecast high today of about 88 degrees, thanks to that south wind keeping us warm here this afternoon.
You know, it never fails, Derek. You got all these events happening tomorrow, Friday night football. I mean, it's good football weather, rain.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I don't think it's going to be a washout by any means. Maybe an isolated shower or two here, Jordan, but otherwise we should be okay.
And as far as Saturday, same thing?
Saturday looks pretty nice.
Okay.
Partly cloudy.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, don't forget to keep up with the news of the day right on our website at news8000.com. And of course, we'll have the latest coming up this afternoon on News 8 Now at noon, and our evening crews take over at 5 and 6 o'clock. We hope to see you then. Derek and I will be right back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. CBS Mornings follows us here. Thank you for watching and have a great day.